Hello, my name is Torre.
And I'm Rocco.
We are members of the Staat, and you're listening and watching Linea Rock.
Yeah.
Hi, the Staat. Hi, Torre.
Hey.
Hi, Rocco.
Hi.
Welcome back to Linea Rock and welcome to Milan.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you
to be
so
back.
much. Grazie mille.
It's a pleasure for us to have you back. Last time you were opening the show for Muse when you came in our studios.
Yes.
So, big event. This time is a smaller one.
Small
but
event.
Still pure the Staat. So,
Yeah.
And you're here also presenting the new album, the 6th chapter of your discography, which was just released, titled Bubblegum. A tricky title, I must say. Usually, it's related to something easy, popular, maybe cheap also, but this is not the case. Almost every song, in a different way, is about the feeling we're all living in a bubble at the moment. Can we consider this, since you have a topic, like the Staat concept album?
No, not really. I think every album with the Staat has always has sort of a theme to it. I think that's very much what we always try to do. For Machinery, that's our second album, is kind of based around being a machine. The third album, Icon, was very much about like having everybody's having profiles and what is real and what is not. And the last album, O, was very much about everything going in circles and going on forever, or help me out. Well, doesn't matter. But so I think every album always has had a theme. But with this one, with being in a bubble, is maybe a bit more clear, a bit more obvious, and everybody knows what I mean when I speak about this, about being in a bubble, and especially with the political climate in the world, So I think it's just a bit more in your face.
And concerning this, the first single, Kitty Kitty, actually captures the conflicting arguments of the global political stage we are all living in, and is in particular dedicated to Mr. President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of. It's based on his presidential campaign. Yeah. And
actually, bubblegum is like an American invention, so everything comes.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you remember the precise moment when you got the inspiration for this song? Was it like quick, instinctive, or it comes from a long reflection?
I to be honest, I don't really remember, because it was quite a long time ago. Kitty Kitty was one of the first songs we made for the new album, and in the beginning I didn't really have lyrics, but we did have the loop-based kind of dangerous sounding track, and it's a very threatening song. You kind of feel the threat throughout the song, and in the end you have the big epic breakthrough, if you will. So I always felt like it should feel threatening, it should feel like aggressive. So at the same time, the whole presidential campaign around Trump was going on, and I was obsessed with it. I was like a lot of people, It was very interesting what was going on.
Right.
And so I kind of automatically used those words from the campaign and the media around it, and made it into a lyric for this song. And it mixed really well with the threatening and the dangerous sound of the song. So we kind of took it to another level. So it feels like when I'm saying these words that are partly words used in the campaign, like Trump used the words "drain the swamp," stuff like that. So I kind of use swamp in a different way.
Okay.
And I sing like Orange Entertainer, talking about his orange face, you know, and him being an entertainer from his work in TV before he became president and stuff like that. So I kind of used all these different words from around this persona to create a new kind of narrative. And if you listen to it and listen to the song, you kind of know it's about him, but at the same time, it's kind of metaphors and it feels very threatening. So towards the end, to me, you know, it felt like it could get very much out of hand at that time.
Okay.
It felt very dangerous. So I thought it was a cool thing to capture that time and try to fit it into the song, Kitty Kitty.
You captured it absolutely perfectly. But it's, you know, it's still an updated song since, you know, Trump is always in the news. And in the last few days, it has been, you know, again. So it's, do you think it's still like perfect? I mean, it captured a perfect moment in time, but it's still, you know, up to date.
Yeah, I think it's still relevant. And I also like to see the song not necessarily being about Trump or anything.
Okay.
It's inspired by him, but the funny thing is, I don't know if you've seen the video.
Yes, I did. And the next question is about it.
Okay, yeah. Well, we just played the UK, and I had literally 3 people come up to me after the show and said they thought the video to them was about Brexit.
Yeah.
About 2 different groups crashing into each other. So I feel like the song is getting extra meaning throughout the months that we're playing. That this phenomenon of 2 different bubbles, 2 different groups living in their own reality, living in their own truth, clashing into each other is happening in a lot of countries, in almost every country, I think, now. So it's, the song continues to be relevant in that way.
You always have very well-produced videos, and I know you do a lot of stuff on your own. How much the song inspires the video? Or maybe sometimes you have the idea for the video first and then you combine the 2 things. How does it work for you? Because, you know, there's a lot of work around that.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The Kitty Kitty video was a lot of work. We shot the video in 2 days, which was actually quite amazing because it took a lot of time.
Yeah.
We were, but the work after that was a lot because, you know, for the people who didn't see the video, we kind of cloned ourselves. You see us as a band, but near the end of the video, you see a lot of Torres, a lot of Roccos.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work on a computer, basically. So the videos take a lot of time, but I think when I write the songs and when we record the songs in studio, I automatically kind of have a picture in my head immediately. That's just what happens in my head. So usually with most of the songs, I have kind of an idea or what fits the song. But then usually when the song is finished and we have a feeling like these are the key tracks of the album, let's make videos with that. And then I try to find a good partner, like a director or a cameraman to work with and try to brainstorm with him and try to get the idea to become practical and doable. Because doable, exactly. Because sometimes I have ideas like, okay, we should be on a volcano and there should be lava coming down and stuff, and you know, director will be like, that's not gonna happen. So we always have to narrow it down and try to make something with as low budget as possible, which is hard because making film is a lot more expensive than making an album. I can tell you that. So,
but nowadays technology helps.
It helps, yeah, definitely. But it's still very expensive. You know, if you you can make a video that's okay, but that's not gonna do it for us. You know, we want to make something that's that people's gonna spread out. You know, that people are gonna share with each other and make something that's noticeable. So if you want to do that, you're automatically kind of spending more money by the hour, basically. So if you make a video, you automatically work with at least 15 people on a set, you know, if you want to make it look good. If you want to do something simple, we've done that before, like a really simple video for a pep talk, from our previous album, or Make the Call, Leave It All. You can see it's a simple video, and that's the whole idea. But if you want to make something that could be a movie, it feels like a movie, like Kitty Kitty.
Yeah.
Then you have to use a really good camera, and you have to use a really good director of photography, and you have to use a really good guy who's great with lighting and stuff like that, and you have to rent a studio, and next thing you know, you're spending thousands and thousands of euros. So, but that comes with being an artist, I guess. So that's what we love to do, just make cool stuff, and as long as we can still pay for it, we'll do it.
Okay, I must compliment with you, because it's like you're developing very well the intuition, that now the video and the song are almost, one thing. It's just one thing only. So it's you have to have both and do both very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
Your music is difficult to categorize. It's defined a chameleonic brand of rock.
Nice.
A lot of genres mixed together, and all in your DNA, I must say, because you are very convincing, in everything you do. It's like an infinite challenge, maybe, for you. But what I was wondering, always changing, direction and skin of your sound, of your style, is like an absolute need for you, or it's simply, your attitude, or you are, in a sense, still researching your perfect dimension?
It's a good question, I think. But I think for us, it doesn't feel like maybe an absolute need, because it comes very naturally to us. It feels very organically, the way the songs get born, or I don't know, for lack of a better word. Because we are all pretty different characters. We're 5 different people.
Yeah.
With 5 different minds, 5 different interests, 5 different tastes in music, in art, in whatever. And we, in some way, it all just comes together when we work out a song. For instance, the ideas. Torre mostly has the idea for the song, and we try to work it out together, and it comes out as us. So it doesn't really. Yeah, maybe it's on a subconscious level. It's a research for our perfect sound, but that's a never-ending.
Okay.
That's
process.
a never-ending process, I guess. That's life, maybe, man.
Yeah.
That's life. That's deep. You're deep. Thank you.
Yeah. I think we just automatically make something that we haven't done before, or kind of. At least the development we have is very natural. We just get bored with what we've done the past 2 years. If you released an album and you've been touring with it for at least a year, sometimes 2. Next thing, you're in the studio and you don't want to make that again,
Okay.
So everybody in the band automatically searches for new sounds and try to get new gear and try to work it out. And I, as a songwriter, try to find new inspiration to steal from, try to find a beat that's interesting to me and use that element and combine it with a different element from another genre, perhaps.
About this, being so original and unique, what's the price to pay to be like that? Not following trends, but dictating them. Is it more courageous or crazy from your point of view?
Well, thank you for that.
Feels like a compliment.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess the price you pay is that a lot of people are having difficulty putting you in a box. And sometimes it's easy for people to put you in a box, and it just takes a little bit more time for people to get an idea of who you are and what you are. So, but especially I've been noticing the past 10 years we've been playing, people from the music industry mostly find it difficult to deal with us because they say, well, it's not rock, traditional rock. It's not it has electronics in it, but it's not electronical music. It's, you know, it's kind of rap. He kind of sings like he raps sometimes, but it's not rap. So what is this, you know? So in what playlist should we put this on Spotify?
Yeah,
or
that's the problem also, because with Spotify or iTunes, they give suggestions, you know, on your taste, and say, oh, if you feel like this, you're gonna like that. So with the Staat, it's
not reggae, it's not
it's not
urban.
easy also to put but we live in a world that is made also of categorization, so it's
exactly,
and boxes
and so I guess the only thing we can do is try to make our own box.
Okay.
Hopefully get our own playlist. And you have reggae, you have rock, and you have the Staat or whatever, that kind of thing. I don't know. We just, we don't really think about it that much, I think. We just make the music and do the show that we like to do. I always try to imagine what it would be like to be in the audience when I'm playing. And that's always the how we do a show, and that's always how we produce music, just to do something that you really would like to hear at that moment. And that's the only thing you can do, I think, and that's the only thing you can do to keep on being happy. Because if you start to think more about what the people want or what a specific group wants in the music industry or whatever, it's kind of like it's like you're making music for a commercial or whatever. Like you have a boss telling you what you need to make. So that's the part where we want to stay away from, So I think the only thing we can do is just make the stuff that we want, and just probably and
pray.
and pray that there are people like us, and there. The last 10 years, there have always been people like us that like the same kind of stuff.
Even here, all the way over here in Italy,
Yeah.
We were in France, and everywhere there's good people with good ears, and good eyes.
Yeah.
that get what we do.
Yeah,
it's like that, man.
Not in every city there are great amounts of people coming to see our show, but the people who are there are crazy and are really into it,
Okay.
So I think that's a lot better than a big crowd of people who are vaguely paying attention.
Yeah.
What's the funniest part of this magic journey that you're making for you?
The funniest part?
Jeez. There's so many funny things about it's basically the idea we're living in a bus with 10 people driving around thousands of kilometers to play a little rock music.
Yeah.
It's basically funny to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
doesn't make any sense.
But it's what we do. It's our lives. It's what we love. We get to meet great people, etc. Blah blah blah.
We get to meet crazy people as well.
Crazy people. Well, and should we share a funny anecdote maybe, because we experienced something pretty funny. This is a very concrete example of maybe your question. It was in Glasgow. We were in Scotland, and we were there. When was the last show?
4 days ago? You mean?
Oh, no,
2 years?
2 years ago. We played there 2 years ago, and suddenly in the middle of the set, a guy got on one knee, and he proposed to his girlfriend, and they were, they were Scots, so they were pretty drunk. So, and it was we were standing there. What do we do? So we just let it happen. It took, and he asked her, and the girl took a lot of time to
answer. Yeah,
to answer.
Did you invite them on stage or no?
We just let it happen.
Okay.
We were watching.
It was in between songs, so it was quiet and everybody in the crowd was watching this weird thing happen in the middle of the crowd.
It was so weird.
And she took way too long to answer the question.
Oh my God.
She didn't say yes immediately. She was like, and eventually said yes, kind of. So that was weird. But then the funny thing is we came back to the same club a couple of days ago, like a week ago.
A week ago, I think so.
And I asked the crowd if the the married couples here, and one person raised his hands, which was the guy, and he said, "Yeah, I'm here," and I said, "Are you still married?" And he said, "No."
Oh
I said,
God.
"Why not?" And then he said, "Excuse my French." He said, "She fucked my best friend."
Oh my God.
This really happened. It was crazy, man. So
Oh my God.
kind
and
of
now
stuff.
everybody knows about it.
Everybody knows. Yeah,
So-
but he was there, so that was cool. So we made a party out of that show. That was a really good
It was
show.
a really good show. Yeah, really nice. Scottish people. Are
So that
really,
was happened.
really
That
nice.
happens,
Yeah.
you know. Our best friends ask each other to marry them, and then they divorce or they break up.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff happens during our shows.
So funny. Ha ha ha.
So this started only with you, Torre, as a challenge to yourself, a one-man project, one-man band. When, how, and why you understood that this project, and you actually, as a leader, needed to become a band?
I think when I started I was writing a lot of songs by myself, making all kinds of music. And when I started to think about, I'm going to make my own album and make it sound like one thing, like a band.
Yeah.
I think when I was halfway there and it was going quite well, I thought, well, I can't just make an album and do nothing with it. So it was like,
Okay.
I need to form a band. And I was already playing with different guys in different bands. I was already playing with Rocco and playing with Diop, the bass player. So it wasn't that difficult to say to those guys, hey, I made this album. You guys want to try to do this live? And I think they all liked what I made. So it was a very easy step to do. And I think before the record came out, we were well rehearsed. We were playing all over the country, in the Netherlands, that is. And then the album came out, and we started playing a couple of important shows. And from that moment on, we were a band, I think. And
Okay. Did
it
you
was
ever
simple as that.
regret this choice, you know? And actually, are you, I mean, you started this, so
Yeah.
are you bossy? Are you the true leader in the pack?
I am the true leader of the pack.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I guess I am, in a way, creatively. That's kind of how it is. But I get this question quite often. Some people think it's more fun or better to be a solo artist because you have all the control or whatever. But I'm not jealous at all I have a lot of friends who are a solo artist and work just with musicians around them, have them in the band. But a lot of them aren't very happy because they feel a lot of pressure. They have to make all the decisions themselves.
Yeah.
And also when they have financial trouble, they are the one having the financial trouble, you know? What I like about being in a band is you get to share the highs and the lows. So it's way more fun if you have a good time. You have a good time with the group. And it's way easier if you have a bad time together with 5 people, because it's not that hard all of a sudden when you're with 5 people. So you can. So it's kind of like you're sharing the load together, and I wouldn't share it I wouldn't change it for the world.
Let's hear Rocco. Is he bossy?
I have to watch.
Look out now.
I have to watch my.
Watch your
Is he
mouth.
bossy? Well, I think Torre's mind is his idea, his creative mind
Okay.
is so strong and convincing that it doesn't take like a busy, like a really bossy.
Yeah.
He's not bossy in a way a boss in an office job or something.
Okay.
Please, not like that. He's more like a natural dictator.
All right. That's good.
No, but it comes with we just trust him with his ideas and
More like a religious leader, maybe.
maybe
Spiritual.
spiritual,
Oh, yeah?
like a guy and etc. No, it comes. We basically we trust his mind, you know, and or at least for me that's the case, and I think therefore I can. If he says this is probably you shouldn't do.
Okay. So
You shouldn't do a lot of things there. I say, maybe
okay,
Torre
right.
has the overview, so
Okay.
maybe trust him, and then that's okay. Yeah.
And what about the name of the band, the Staat, which means the state, if I'm correct? Is it perfect? I mean, for
How do
both,
you say it in Italian?
Lo Stato.
Lo Stato.
Lo Stato.
Lo Stato.
Is it perfect for both incarnations? I mean, one man band project and the band, or actually now is more effective, is stronger as a band?
The name.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's
thought
a
of that.
label, the name is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a deep question again.
I don't know. I don't know if it really matters because the music is the Staat basically.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Staat is the group now. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
The-
it's good.
Yeah.
You never thought about it.
No,
It was like a natural progression, and
to be honest, before I made the album by myself, I had another band who I called the Staat already, which was more of a rocky, simple thing, a trio. So I just took that name and put it on this thing. So it always felt like it is a group. And in that band, Rocco was already
I joined
in that,
later,
and Job, the bass player, also was. So I kind of took that name and put it on this new
All
thing.
right.
Yeah.
So you've been around 13 years or even more, I guess, since the first incarnation of the band you're talking about.
I'd say 12 years. Yeah.
Okay.
We're not wanna be too. We're not. We're old, but not that old.
Okay. Did you influence the Dutch rock scene some way? I mean, there's a huge scene at the moment right there,
yeah.
and do you think that you put your imprinting in that?
I don't know. You should ask the other bands, I guess. But I'm probably in a way. I mean, we've played all of the major festivals in Holland. We've done. I don't think we can get any bigger than we are right now in the Netherlands with the music we make. So probably we've made some sort of an impact. I don't know how big it is or how small it is, but you should probably ask the other bands. I'm not gonna speak for them.
The other day, I don't remember who it was, but or it was, and also it was in this kind of some kind of media article, something, and it stated like the Staat, who didn't grow up with them, because for us,
Really?
yeah.
Oh man, we're really old.
We're really old, These are and somebody from our hometown, he told me that for him it was also very special to see us making these steps over the last 10 years, and because he was a young boy when we started out, and it was and he kind of grew up with us,
Yeah.
And for us, that we're not really thinking about, we're thinking about ourselves and about the art, the music. But I think, probably, we don't consider it that much, but probably because we've been around so long, we're just there.
You still have to realize it.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe when we're really old, in the coffin, then,
Oh my God.
then we think about
That
it.
is too late.
then we have time to think about it. Yeah.
Then there's time to think when you're dead.
Concerning influences, you also have, a unique, large set of influences. I read that you like the Talking Heads, Rihanna, Nine Inch Nails, Radiohead, Michael Jackson, Run DMC, Soulwax. It's a really large spectrum. Was it all your own discovery, or you had a very diversified circle of friends, or like brothers, sisters that actually helped you to?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably all of that. To me, when I was young, I grew up with listening to Queen.
Okay.
Like I only had one CD, in which was Greatest Hits 1. I thought that was an album, but it was their biggest hits. So it's a really good album if you think about it. But so that's what it started with. Then I heard the famous album of Moby, and then I thought, I can probably make this myself. You know, it's really simple electronic-based music. So then I started kind of making music myself. But as we grew older, when you're in your teens, I liked the Korn, Deftones.
Okay.
Later, Queens of the Stone Age, the whole desert rock scene, Masters of Reality, and later, basically everything. And then we're like Rocco said, we're all so different in the band, so we all have different tastes. Rocco listens to a lot of hip hop and
everything,
basically. Electronic music. So I get a lot of stuff from him as well, and we just I keep on looking for stuff that interests me and kind of blows my mind in a way.
Okay.
So I don't know. You just take in everything, even music that you hate is inspiring to me. Okay. Because then you know, this I really don't like, and then you can analyze why don't I like it.
And other people do.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And then you say, I don't like it because this is super annoying, boring vocal line or whatever. And you know, if you know what you don't like, it's kind of easy to make what you do like.
I know you're not very much into classic rock, but you just mentioned Queen as one of your first influences. Yeah. So I must ask you, did you see the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, and what do you think about it?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Not yet?
No.
Oh my God.
So I don't know.
Is it good?
If you should see it.
I really enjoyed it very much. Yeah. Yes. So, but I like Queen a lot. So.
Yeah. Well, me too. I probably like it too. I haven't seen it yet. No.
One of the next things you're gonna do on the tour bus is to, it will be available on DVD very soon. So you can
DVD.
What is DVD?
DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever. So you come from Nijmegen, if it's correct. Nijmegen. Okay. Yeah. Holland, the town that gave birth to the Van Halen brothers.
Yeah.
Before actually their family migrated to the United States. Is it something that is still a national pride there, and or something you in particular are proud of?
Van Halen?
Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody thinks about it.
I don't think anybody in
Nijmegen knows. It's the same town, you know. It's the same place.
This is not. I think nobody in Nijmegen thinks about the Van Halen.
I almost forgot this fact, but
really?
I know it's true.
The mother of Karl Marx is born in Nijmegen.
I didn't know
so
about
the
it.
mother of, you know.
Yeah, we have also Nina Simone. We have a couple of those kind of things, but. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people think about that too much. No, but
because they conquered, the world. They've been huge in the States. So
pretty
it's
good
like,
band,
you come from the same place, so you know.
Yeah. Same vibe.
You released 6 albums and a so large amount of singles. Counted 23 of them, to be precise. Why this choice? And is this some way connected to your addiction of making videos, having so many singles?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I think the choice of singles is never, we don't really think about it that much. It's mostly a thing like our label is saying we're going to release a single. Just the focus track, the focus on. We have an opinion about it, definitely, but as we notice now that we release our album internationally, like in France, they say, we would like to release this track first. And in Germany, they say, we would like to release Phoenix first. And in England, they say, we'd like to release Mona Lisa. And we're like, okay, do it. Fine. Yeah. And then they say, do you have video content? And I'll say, I'm working on it. Okay. I love to make videos. So there's a couple of more coming.
Yeah.
And so the singles, we definitely have an opinion about it. Like Kitty Kitty is the first single was... There was an idea. There was an idea of the label where we were like, "Yes, let's do it. That's a great idea." So we just, like I said, we will make videos nonetheless if it's a single or not. Okay. If I have a good idea for a video, we'll do it.
The most famous is Witch Doctor, which actually had like more than 4 million views up to now. It won the Berlin Music Video Award, and you evoke it also during your live performances. And that's a great, achievement for any band. But has it become paradoxically limiting, for such a band with no limits, like the Staat is, that now everybody expects you to play that song, to do such a thing? Is it some way limiting to you?
No, not really, because I think when Witch Doctor became such a hit as a video and just as a song later, we already had 3 albums, so we were already playing a lot. We have plenty of fans at the moment. So then all of a sudden we had a track that more people knew, and I started to do it in the crowd, which became a whole ritual, which was a lot of fun. So I guess we were ready for that, and it wasn't like our first song we released and everybody just only knows that song. We already had plenty of songs people knew, so it didn't feel stupid or like an obligation to play that. So of course, it's a little bit of an obligation, because if you don't play it, people will be like, "Why didn't you play the song?"
Yeah,
we will always play it. I can guarantee you that, at least for the next couple of. No, I can't. Maybe we won't.
Couple of 100 years.
Maybe, but we do change the way we perform the song, though. So I don't really do standing in the middle of the crowd anymore, to be honest. Because you kind of want to prevent it becoming a circus act, I think. And getting bored with the way of performing this, so you want to kind of change it up and do it differently every time. So we've done that thing for quite a long time, for at least a year. Yeah. So we kind of change it up, but sometimes maybe I will, but. So
just depends on the moment,
Yeah, it kind of depends on the moment and the place,
and on the set and on everything. You don't want it to be pre-calculated. Like now this will happen, and you want the show to have an element of surprise and danger for ourselves, for the crowd, for everybody,
For the Staat philosophy.
for the art, art, for the sake of art.
So you toured with Muse and the Rolling Stones. What's the greatest, the most important lesson that you learned from those amazing experiences?
I think a lot of things. I think one of the things was that there's always plenty of room to grow. Mm-hmm. If you look at a band like Muse, they still find ways to be to develop themselves and try to come up with new ideas for their shows and stuff, because it cannot get much bigger than the way they produce their live shows. So it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be around the whole crew and see how they build up the show and think about that stuff. So that was very inspiring. We're very different than Muse, I think, but it is fun to see how they build up their gig and think about their set list and stuff like that. So, and at the same time, having the chance to play in front of such big crowds, and a lot of them didn't have any idea who we were. So that's great. And the same for the Stones. They're such a legendary big band. It was just a lot of fun just to take that in and be able to share the stage with them. And actually we met them as well for a short little bit of time. Took a picture.
So you met Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Matthew Bellamy, all of them. And did they tell you why they chose the Staat, or it was like a management choice?
Well, with Muse, I think at least that's what I've been told. I think they have a keyboard player that plays along with them in the shows, and I think he saw Witch Doctor at first and kind of dug into our repertoire on YouTube. And apparently they started to watch a bunch of YouTube clips of our music, and they liked it so much that they asked us to do at first just one show, support them at one show in Munich. And after we did that, we got asked to do 3 more weeks.
Okay.
So, that was a really personal question from them, as I've heard. So that was really a cool thing to know, because it came directly from the band. Because a lot of times it kind of comes from the the shield around it, or how do you say the
business.
like business
the staff
people
working
saying,
for them, agencies and stuff.
And I think with the Stones, it was kind of like they were looking for a good support act from Holland.
Okay.
And there were just business people from Holland saying, this is probably a good act for you.
Okay.
And then Mick Jagger apparently was like, I like this, let's do it.
Which was the reaction of the Stones fans to your show?
It was, I don't know, I'm not sure. It was weird.
Muse,
it's very
kind
different.
of the same thing, but
it was a lot of fun to do, but it was also quite strange. You kind of felt the room. Most of them didn't really understand what we were doing, but that's all good.
On the other hand, I met this couple. I don't know exactly when or where it was, but it was sometime in the past couple of weeks, and their first. It was in Belgium. So 2 weeks ago or something, when we started the tour out in Belgium. There was a couple, and the first time they saw us was at the. And the first time they heard of us was at the Rolling Stones show.
Okay.
So at least we got 2 people out of the I don't know how many there were, 50,000 or something. I don't know. So we got something out of it,
But what is it more traumatic for you, actually? To return to the small stages. After such big tours, or it's more actually traumatic to be suddenly, kicked on those huge stages in front of thousands of people that are not your proper fans, as you mentioned. And that's an incredible dimension. And so what is more difficult for you?
I think neither. It's not traumatic at all. I don't find it difficult either. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing this for 10 years. The same thing in Holland. We've been doing big shows, and then we cross the border to Germany, and it's a small show again, and a lot of them. Fortunately, the shows are getting bigger and bigger across the border, but still, it's what we're used to, and I think it's a lot of fun for us as well, because when you stand in front of a huge crowd at a festival, it's like playing in front of a big beast that roars at you. It's one thing. And when you play a small crowd like tonight in
Magnolia, Milano.
It's like you can see all these individuals, see all these different faces enjoying the music, and somebody in the back is falling asleep, and then he's waking up again. You can see everything. And in the front, there's one person going crazy for that specific song, and it feels very direct. So I think both of these shows are really good for a band like us to stay present in the moment and get better as a band. Because if you only play big shows, I think you kind of start making big music, if you know what I mean. You start, some bands who got really big start writing for that situation, and I don't really like that.
Okay.
So we kind of like both things, like direct up close and personal, but also the big gesture. We like to do both things.
What would you say to invite, somebody that doesn't know about the Staat to the show tonight? What would you say?
I would say they're in for a very diverse, exciting, fun show. And if you want to dance, you can dance. If you don't want to dance, it's fine. Don't dance.
Don't dance.
Just do whatever you want. And I think that's the vibe of the show. And it's probably the best show you've ever seen.
Okay. So why miss it? What do you think it's actually typically pop, and on the other hand, typically rock in your style?
I think most of the melodies are very catchy, and that's what I like. I think what we all like, but they're always catchy in a way that it sounds like it's pop, but there's just one note in that whole melody that's kind of weird, and that makes it the Staat, probably. And the rock thing about us is just we can be very loud. We all play guitar. So automatically that makes you a rock band, I guess. But you can look at us from different perspectives. I think the catchiness of it all makes us a pop band as well. Yeah.
Last question for today. What do you think of the 2019 Grammys, which has just been given? If you saw the list, I don't know, tell us there was Best Alternative, Lady Gaga, Greta Van Fleet, Justice, Ariana Grande, a lot of stuff. Willie Nelson also for the traditional stuff. Is this the exact photograph, in your opinion, of the music business right now? And did you ever get nominees or awards? And actually, do you care about them?
I think the names you were just mentioning, I think it's a very American picture of what's going on right now. So I think 3/4 of the artists that have won, I haven't listened to at all.
Okay.
So I don't think it's that important at all, awards. I think it's fun. I think we've won a lot of awards in Holland, a lot. I mean, plenty, like for best album and best band and
best alternative,
best song, even best alternative, that kind of thing. And it's of course it's really cool because it says something about you as a band in that specific period of time that you made impact in some way, in such a way that people would like to give you a little statue for it. So that's very cool, and it's humbling in a way. So it means something in that sense that you've probably made an impact in a way, in a broad way. But as if you're talking about bubbles and that kind of thing, there are some metal bands that are huge and that I've never heard of, and I think that's the same when you come to our show. I think there are people in the crowd who experience our music as the biggest thing to them, which is great. And someone else on the street has never heard of us. So in the end, so what does it all mean? It doesn't really matter, it's just a personal thing to every single person.
Yeah.
I hate it. Sorry, I got philosophical.
It's a beautiful answer. Beautiful answer, Torre. Great.
Thanks, Torre. Thanks, Rocco, for your
Thank
time,
you.
for this interview.
Grazie mille.
And we hope to have you back to Linea Rock, Radio Lombardia soon. So
Linea Rock.
you've
Wanna
come
get back,
twice. Now, 3 is the perfect number,
is
so you have to
magic
come back.
number.
Okay.
I agree.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Sì.
Cheers.
Grazie.
Grazie.